Hey, Wargamers, Doug here from 2 Plus Tough with another little bit of news. So if you have not seen it yet today, a very cool article went up on Warhammer community page that I wanted to talk about. Again, I got a lot of positive responses to doing these short little, just talk about stuff that's in the news. So we're going to go ahead and keep doing that. And we'll hop right over to the article, and it is quiz. Which of these new Slaaneshi demons are you? So let me read this off to you here. When the Hag Queen ascended to godhood in Broken Realms Morathi, the resulting surge of power gave rise to an altogether separate entity made from Slaanesh's pure essence. Dubbed the Newborn, this being fled the cave between realms and hid, growing and shifting until two massive demons strode forth, each a dark reflection of the other. So, let's pause there for a second. At no point earlier was there an indication of having two characters spawn from this one entity, I guess. For some reason, in my brain, I keep calling it the Unborn, even though it's not. It's the Newborn. But that's rad, I mean, hey, many a father has been surprised to learn that they're having twins, and this is no difference here. For me and my money, we're going to get to the models here in a second, but that's a really cool development. I like the fact that they went with Slaanesh of like, what is the embodiment of Slaanesh? Well, it's a duality, right? And I mean, quite frankly, that's something that's reflective in Elven stuff a lot. You have Teclis and Tyrion, who are twins, who they're just mirror images of each other, like inverts, is what I mean, of each other. One's strong and noble, the other one's Teclis is kind of a D-bag and schemy and magic focused. So I like the idea of having each one is like the yin to the other's yang, but for the worst reasons possible. Okay, here we go. So here, there's a video, but I'm going to scroll past that just because it's not showing us anything that we can't see later on. Now, we know what you're thinking. That's all very interesting, Warhammer community, but how would I know which one I resemble without taking a simplified personality test full of leading questions? And we couldn't agree more. That's why we've concocted a few perfectly normal questions that will tell you without a doubt which aspect of the Dark Prince you're most like. Okay, so we're going to walk through this a little bit, and we are going to be taking a look at the models on the screen here, the details of them as we go. So, question number one. Oh, the video popped me back up. Question number one, how do you like your scepters? A, long for striking down the works of mortals in melee combat, or B, short for weaving chaotic magics and corrupt and coerce? For me, aesthetically, I always go with the long scepters because they look more imposing. For me, like the Lord of Change with his Gatling gun half stick that's like super short, but it has like bajillion shots because you're shooting magic out of it. It's kind of weird looking. But here we go. So I say B. That's me. No self-respecting demon would ever be seen dead without a glorious weapon bedecked in their master's iconography, and the twin children of Slaanesh are no different. While the brutish and clumsy oafs of Khorne might prefer the axe or sword, the refinement and elegance of a staff or scepter is far better fit for demons that appreciate the finer things in life. I love it. The weapon looks pretty much identical on both of them. Let's see. No, there is a little bit of difference. It's probably locked into the arms, but the actual icon is roughly the same. I think it's absolutely cool. Oh, they're in different hands too. If you go to the magic one, it's on the left hand above, and if you go with the melee one, it's the right arm below. Okay. Question 2. What is the appropriate number of adornments for your back? A, 1, unfurled to command respect from all who cower before me, or B, 2, appearing as graceful wings to lift me above the world of lesser beings. I'm going to say 2, because assuming it is stable and it's not like, springy when it's on a base, a flying model that's huge just looks good. It's just like the reason Archaon just looks cool as all get out. The answer here is something of a trick question. No amount of ornamentation is too much for a devotee of Slaanesh, but if you're going to have a huge wing fin, the jury's out on that one, then you'll want to make sure there's plenty of space for your god's iconography. And of course, both of them, whatever setup or, cape, wing, fin, they're calling it, it's got plenty of Slaanesh icons on it, which I do like quite a bit. Now, question 3, how do you wear your horns? Raw and primal, like my desire to conquer the mortal realms. Refined and elegant, the better to sway new believers into the fold. Me personally, raw and primal. That one on the left here, I'll pull up this picture. I love it. I actually liked a lot of, it reminds me of the Beasts of Chaos book has a lot of these really cool like sidebar pieces of art where the horns are like wrapping in on things. And that is just such a cool look because it's like taking nature and making it uncomfortable. You know what I mean? Like where it's not trying to be, you know, just like the biggest, baddest horns like on a bull or something like that. But when you start twisting and weaving with things, it's like this is natural, but it's wrong. And I like that quite a bit for chaos stuff specifically. And the answer is nothing says regal power like a good set of horns, especially when they're framed atop the head of unsettling beauty, as any Dark Prince can provide. Whether you're bellowing commands to a hedonite host or whispering arcane words of power across a battlefield, it pays to have the rest of the Sybarites know who's boss. And for, you know, when I look at the horns, I like this one over this one because this looks, for me, it looks a lot like the current Keeper of Secrets model, which is fantastic. But honestly, if you're going to try and represent something different, I tend to go, let's go real different, right? Let's have the wrapping horns. Let's do that. So where are you? If you answered mostly A, this is where they're showing off the actual model. I'm going to go ahead and just open this here, and we'll zoom into that in a second. If you answered mostly A, Dexcessa, the Talon of Slaanesh. That's one of our newborn heroes. I love it. And the other, embodying the lethal, ferocious aspect of Slaanesh's lust for battle, Dexcessa is a combatant of power and grace rarely even seen amongst the ranks of greater demons. With wicked sharp claws and the scourge of Slaanesh in their grasp, the Talon of Slaanesh soars to ever greater heights of blissful butchery from the moment the first drop of blood hits the floor. Okay, so here we have our very physical, brutal, wants to be in melee, like, gets the thrill of combat from being up close and personal, being the one who's shedding blood, and also having some blood of theirs shed. I love it. I'm just going to pause here. Let's go check out this model here. I know these two aren't vastly different. They come from the same kit, but this is an absolutely stunning model. For me personally, even though I tend to like my big demons to be like cool magic users and stuff like that, this wins. Like, I love the split. Both of them have this where their kind of cloak comes down and splits and they're levitating off the ground. I love it because it's like, it's supposed to be this like disgusting, well, it's beautiful, but it's like this corrupted beauty where it's supposed to be like abhorrent kind of. And I like the idea of them floating like this because it makes them seem angelic, right? But they're not angels. They're terrifying. They're terrifying in every conceivable way. So I think it's a wonderful pose, a way to bring it to life. I've already said before, I like the horns, the way they curl in on each other. I'm curious as to how many parts those are going to be. I mean, I'm not really worried about it, but, I think it's rad. Looking at the base, I think the cloak can be pretty stinking thick, especially because if you look down here, it rolls up, which means there's the possibility of like a nice fat, flat portion, so you can glue it down nice and sturdy. I think given the width of them, he's not going to be bouncy or anything like that. I think that's pretty clear. So all in all, fantastic. Someone is going to make the most ridiculous peacock, color scheme around, and to them, I salute you. All right, so here we go. We'll zoom back out. So that is the melee variant, essentially. And then we have Synessa, the voice of Slaanesh. Okay. The softly spoken word to their siblings' keening war cry, Synessa derives far more pleasure from manipulation of the mind than brute physical excess. While commanding eldritch magics is as easy as a snap of their fingers, the voice of Slaanesh's true power lies in the mesmerizing strength of their words, which are heard across a raucous battlefield by all of the Demon Prince's devotees. That's an interesting description. My thought is that this one's going to be much more of a force multiplier. So maybe not wanting to get into combat him or herself, but making your army better for it, that kind of thing. Whichever of the twins you'll find most drawn to, you'll be glad to know that either can be built from the same kit, giving you a choice of a powerful melee fighter or a consummate wizard. And as you'd expect from their heritage, they both make excellent generals for varied Hedonites of Slaanesh forces that you can create. And here's a cool little fun thing, okay? Let's see. Just what plans do these powerful scions of Slaanesh have in store for the mortal realms? You'll need to read Broken Realms Kragnos. That's one of the first, the book has been introduced, but this is the first article that I remember where they're being like, stay tuned for this thing. Like it sounds like it's coming up soon, so that's wonderful. Broken Realms Kragnos, to find out where they interweave with the Seraphon's venerable Lord Croak and a certain family of witch hunters. So Broken Realms Kragnos is already off the hook for me because I'm loving Be'lakor as I'm going through it right now. And man, I can't wait. It's been just killer lately. So let's go ahead and zoom on this one. I will say, for my money, I do prefer the one big fin, wing, whatever it is in the background. They didn't really know what it was either, which I respect. I do prefer that. However, they do both have the same kind of cloak that comes down to the ground. This one's a lot brighter, I feel like, so I can kind of see the creases a bit more. I think it looks absolutely stunning. This one is interesting because I feel like the poses, I'm just kind of going back and forth, apologies. I feel like the poses, even though like their body is in the same pose, I feel like they look like great counterparts to each other because this, for some reason in my mind, exudes like wisdom, right? You're holding like a scepter up to like lead. None of the hands are clenched, like in a fist. Or if you go to the other one, she's got her war scepter thing. She's got 3 hands that are like clawed together much more tightly. Like this just looks very regal and like an icon. Again, very angelic, whereas the other does look like a war aspect. So I think that this is wonderful. I would love to see, so for example, I know my buddy Jack over on Really Once, hi Jack, his demon, greater demons have like a black and white kind of mirror thing, like kind of Cruella de Vil style. I would love to see like paint schemes that reflect the mirrored personalities, because if you look at these, they're obviously different characters. This one is much more dark and dark blood and evil-y, and quite frankly, I love it. I'm here for it. It looks like something out of Silent Hill. This one's much more bright and exuberant, and again, I would say angelic. But I would love it if there was like more inversion going on. Like what if this one had red wings and a purple cloak, and this one had purple wings and a red cloak? Like there was literally more of a play, visually speaking, with them being different sides of the same coin. So I would like that quite a bit. So that's something I always loved about Jack's Keepers of Secrets. And so if you haven't seen those, go check out probably any Slaanesh battle report on Rerolling Ones. But yeah, so I love these models. I think they're really cool. The way the narrative is going right now, how they are introduced could go any which way, meaning they could spring up and basically lead armies to, I don't know, a full-on assault on Ulgu or Hish. Hish would make perfect sense because it's already in a rough spot with Lumineth just having taken a huge beating from Nagash. And really, wouldn't we all enjoy a campaign book that punched the Lumineth just as hard as they punched the Ossiarch Bone Reapers? I know that I would. That'd be a nice palate cleanser. But all in all, I love these models. I don't know if I'll be getting one, just because, hey, GW, if you send me one, I'll paint it for you. But as far as like going out and getting it, Slaanesh, I'll be honest, has not super appealed to me. However, what I can say is that this scheme, with the very, very dark reds and kind of the maroon colors, that is perfect for me, right? It's that perfect mix. It almost looks like dark Victorian era, like carnival style stuff. And that's what I'm here for when it comes to Slaanesh, where it's not bright poppy, everything's highlight yellow and highlight pink all the time, but rather it's this kind of macabre fanciness that you don't get, and it's just very unsettling. Like, this is what I love. Also, the fact that you can't see their eyes. Like, oh, that's so cool. Can you? Yeah, you can see the face on the other one. Like that, everything about this is just my way. So, If I was going to start a Slaanesh army, it would be built around, what's her name? Dexcessa. I almost said Excessa, which is pretty close. The Talon. So anyway, friends, I just wanted to share this because, you know, like I said, these short little videos did well yesterday, and I just wanted to hear your opinions on it. So go ahead and let me know in the comments down below your thoughts on the twins, the Wonder Twins, as they will now be called. I desperately want there to be some way for them to play on the field together, you know, kind of like I guess the closest equivalent would be like a Thricefold Befoulment or something like that, where, you know, it's a battalion with these two and then some depiction of what their most devout followers would be like. And so I'm not sure if that would be like Sybarites or demons. I'm not quite sure, but I would love to see that because, I mean, I don't know, because it's hard, because if there are a lot of points that I want it to be, okay, let me word it this way. I want you to be able to put both of them on the table at the same time and have a cool thematic effect, but I want that to be a challenge, right? Like I want it to be difficult because they take up so much of your list for you to be able to do that. And I think that's a fun balance. This would definitely be, in my opinion, hopefully, a fluffy army, but it would look so cool. So anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and I will catch you there. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Happy wargaming.